Para analisar o que os americanos pensam da visita de Ahmadinejad ao Brasil, o Sem Fronteiras conversou com o professor de estudos iranianos da Columbia University, Hamid Dabashi. Nascido no Irã e radicado nos Estados Unidos, um crítico de Ahmadinejad, mas defensor do direito iraniano de levar adiante o programa nuclear. Dabashi se diz decepcionado com a diplomacia de Lula, de quem ele esperava mais criatividade e ousadia. President Lula said that Iran has the right to have peaceful nuclear energy. What does that mean for Ahmadinejad's strategy?
What it means for the U.S. is more specifically under Obama administration. Obama administration has put military strike out of sight, and it is for negotiations. That is, President Obama wants to negotiate with a single objective of preventing Iran developing a nuclear project. So on one hand, President Obama doesn't want President Lula to talk to Ahmadinejad in order to legitimize him or get him off the hook so easily. On the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if President Lula has done it with the tacit approval of President Obama. Not that I'm privy to any secret information, but it can be that part of the cajoling of Ahmadinejad and the Islamic Republic can be done by Europeans, and now Brazil is entering the scene to do a little bit more of cajoling, with a single objective of preventing Iran from developing hostile nuclear technology.
But what really is Ahmadinejad's strategy here?
Ahmadinejad's strategy, more than anything else, is to procure international legitimacy for himself and his government in face of fundamental problem and crisis of legitimacy that he faces in Iran. If his government were legitimate, which is not, there's nothing wrong with creating other axes of cooperation, economic, cultural, political, in order to create some sort of a balance vis-a-vis United States and European countries.
What should Obama do to move forward?
President Obama should, I think, develop the regional disarmament and ultimately global disarmament. But if global disarmament is now a fantasy, regional disarmament is not a fantasy. The fact that we have to have a nuclear-free zone, especially in that volatile, there are no, fortunately, major wars happening in Brazil and Argentina.
That's what Iran is proposing, but it hasn't been taken by...
Well, I mean, that's the whole point.
So you don't agree with those people who are saying, like Wall Street Journal or some editorials in New York Times, that it would be bad for Brazil to receive Ahmadinejad's visit because the Obama administration wouldn't like it. You don't agree with that?
The realpolitik of it is that Brazil wants to be a player in international politics. Brazil wants to be a player in the Middle Eastern politics. I understand that the President Lula is arranging for a soccer match between Israel, Palestine, and Brazil, which would be lovely to watch. So I can understand that from the Brazil wants to have a seat in the Security Council. So none of that, from the perspective of the national interest of Brazil, is unusual. And from a global perspective, I don't think it's necessarily anything bad for Brazil to become a player, another factor, perhaps a Latin American perspective on the global scene that will create a balance between this European and Western European and North American alliance that, especially in a monopolar world, in the absence of Soviet Union and one superpower.
For the democratic movement in Iran, what does that mean, that visit of Ahmadinejad to Brazil? How is it seen?
Not very happy, because they hate to see what they consider to be an illegitimate president to be received by a president of a nation state, particularly Brazil, because there is a soft spot in the heart of Iranians for Brazil, because we all grew up with Brazilian football, and still there is this deep, deep affection. So it's very jarring for Iranians, especially the civil rights movement, to see a president they consider to be illegitimate and cracking down on demonstrators and human rights abuses and civil rights abuses, kidnapping people off the streets, abuses in prisons, torture, rape, etc., to be received as a head of a state by Brazil is troubling.
O convite ao presidente do Irã era antigo. seria difícil para o governo brasileiro voltar atrás. Ao receber 3 líderes do Oriente Médio em 15 dias, o presidente Lula tenta participar da política da região. Só o tempo dirá se a estratégia, que incluiu uma visita tão controvertida quanto a de Ahmadinejad, merecia ter sido bombardeada pela mídia internacional ou se vai render frutos para a diplomacia brasileira.